Hi guys, Dave here for Dave Outdoors. This video is one in a series on budget bushcraft and budget survival items. If you have any ideas or comments or any experiences, please share them down below in the comments section so that we can all read and learn from them. Thanks for tuning in. Coming to our final few videos on the budget bushcraft budget survival series, and this one is on carrying items. What do we carry our stuff in? I'm looking at haversacks and backpacks. First, a bit of an apology. Sorry it's taken so long to get this series done. After lockdown, I had to go back to work and take on all those other responsibilities of life, so it stretched my video timetable out a little bit. But coming to the last couple of videos, so we'll be through with it soon. Thanks for sticking in there, and thanks very much for all your guys' views. Let's look at this backpack. This is a French Army F2 backpack, Foxtrot 2. There is a Foxtrot 1 version, which doesn't have these pouches and has a few less features than what this one carries. And I think these were made around, at least the design comes out of the 1980s. Now, keeping in mind, I'm talking about my personal preferences here, and hopefully they'll help people pick things out or spark some interest. And any ideas and comments and thoughts that you have, please write them in the comment section. It's an open forum. I really love to hear your guys' ideas on it. But this has been my camera bag for about a couple of years now. Picked it up, it was 20 bucks from Army Surplus. I think they're about $40 now. And it's turned out to be a really good backpack. I'll go through some of the features of it. And as we're going through, I'll talk about some of the downsides that I could see as well. So pros and cons as we go along. Now, I do have a civilian day pack as well. It's made by MacPack, which I really like their stuff. MacPack hat on. The civilian one tends to sit in my car. It's about 30-35 liters, and so it holds a reasonable amount of stuff, and it's my grab bag out of my car if I have to run and go and ditch my vehicle. I don't really use it that much in the bush, because like what I like to do or where I go to tends to be in a bit of the rougher stuff, because I kind of like that. It's a bit more isolated. And the civilian packs, companies like MacPack and was it Deuter, Lowpro, all that kind of stuff, they're great stuff. They really are. I'm not knocking them. But I tend to gravitate towards the military stuff because I'm ex-military, but I also think the military stuff is a lot more robust. This is going to cause a bit of conflict with these ideas. But the civilian backpacks in that, they're made of very tough, very robust material, really good designs, particularly for ergonomics and things like that. And they are designed to take some punishment, but different kind of punishment. My MacPack day pack is an example. It's lightweight. I could use it for running if I want to. Very solid fabric, and it's designed for more like open country or open bush, not really bush bashing, which is what I like to try and do. And an example of military designs, military fabrics and sewing, they're designs to really take a beating. They're designed to support the soldier so that the soldier can do his job. As an example, this backpack here has a quick release system. Well, maybe that was the intention. I don't think it's particularly good. But the idea of that is you're patrolling along, you got your backpack on, you're patrolling along, you've got your firearm, you get into a contact. The thing is, quickly release the pack, it drops to the ground with whatever it's got in it, it just drops straight to the ground, and you go into the contact and you do your job. You know, civilian backpacks aren't really designed for that kind of a beating. These things, these military ones, you throw them on a truck and you throw a whole bunch on top of them as well, because that's just what you need to do to get the job done, and that's the only space you got. And so they can take the punishment. The fabrics and the design of them as well are made to take that kind of punishment, that kind of military punishment. A helicopter pulls overhead, it's a meter or a couple of meters off the ground, you kick your backpack out, and then you jump out after it. At least that's the way we used to be trained ages ago. And so, you know, they're designed to take the punishment. They might be a bit lacking in their ergonomic designs and stuff like that, but the overall purpose of these packs is that it's a give and take in certain areas so that it does its main function, which is to support the soldier be long lasting and will last him right out through the conflict or whatever his job is. So I tend to steer towards military. I do like the civilian stuff, particularly MacPack. I like their stuff, and I have a bit of MacPack stuff, but when it comes out into the bush and really getting into the bashing around, it's the military stuff for me. So again, let's look at this pack. The cool thing about this is you can add extra items onto it, and it allows for it. The whole pack itself is about 30 to 35 liters, but when you raise this up like this, you can put your entire bedroll here. This is on in loose, so there's a lot more space in there for carrying stuff. It's got 2 straps down here as well, or 2 sets of straps. So you can put a put your hoochie in there, a ground sheet. This is the grabber space blanket, and you put another one in there. I think that was designed for a radio or something like that. If you want to get into a bit of sewing, maybe 1 large strap, so you can put a whole bedroll down there. 2 pouches on either, pouch on either side, and a center pouch as well. Let's just go from top to bottom. This top flap here's one of the downsides, is these tricky little buckles. Yeah, this one doesn't want to work, the other one did. Not very good, well, virtually impossible, I'd say, if you have gloves on or your hands are cold and numb. It's going to be hard getting these things out. Probably not too good on the design there. But that's my survival poncho roll, so you'll see it easily take a bedroll in there. And these top straps are designed if you're hauling stuff on top. You can put that flap right up like that, and you can see that's a lot of space in there. You put a much bigger roll than that I had in that. And that's when it's pulled down tight. If you lift it all the way up, you can put a lot of stuff in there. If you're not using that space there, then she straps down to 2 buckles down here, and you get this nice nice compact design there. Again, on the top flap, it's got hookup points here and here, so you can lie a bedroll across that and just strap it on. A couple of Canadian jam knots would do that for you, or just get some straps as well. So bedroll up there as well, or extra items up there. It's really good. Working our way down, on the inside you got these 2 flaps. These are quite common on military backpacks, and hold your gear in. They fold across like that and then strap. Hold your gear in and keeps the rain out as well. One change I would make, or things you can quickly adjust, is if it's raining quite heavily, the rain can still get in there, and that'll keep it relatively dry, but still going to get in. So what you can do is just do it the other way. Pull the flap over, strap it down tight, then put these inside flaps on the outside, and it gives you a nice seal around the top. On the inside here, again, I think I said it has 30 to 35 liter capacity, plus all the extra capacity when you add stuff in. But here's a pouch here, so you can put anything you want in there. You can put a back pad in there, so it could be a seat pad for when you're around the camp, and just give some structure to and some support for the back. And inside here is just one solid pouch. In there I've got my entire Hennessy hammock, and I've got a haversack that I'm looking at in my next video. I won't do those up. A bit time consuming with these buckles, that's the main problem. Let's strap this guy down here. Carrying this pack, the 2 straps there. It doesn't give you a sternum strap, you know, it's military, why give you one of those? So just puts on quite nicely and quite good in the bush. As you can see, it sits below the shoulders. Even if I tighten it up, these awkward buckles that it's got, even if I tighten it up, as you can see, sits below the shoulders, and it's not much wider than I am, or even a bit narrower. So what that means is I'm going through real tight bush and going through the scrub and in between tight trees and stuff, this pack is protected behind me. As I'm moving through, the pack moves with me. It doesn't get caught up on anything because it's not sticking out. And that waterproof fabric that it's got is really quite nice because stuff just tends to brush over it. Brambles and thorns and stuff don't get caught in it. So as you can see, quite a nice size. The trouble is, this is made as a day pack or patrol pack essentially. I reckon it's good for 2 or 3 days in the bush before it starts becoming real uncomfortable and starts causing you maybe a little bit of pain and stuff. But easily a day pack, and it's quite nice. You know, it hangs low, but the more you load it up, like you start putting your bed rolls and stuff in it, things like that, it's not designed for it. It can take it, but you're going to have to take the punishment of that. The extra weight is going to be pulling you back like that, simply because of the design of the pack. And you can really load it up, but the more you load it, the less distance you want to travel, the less you want to use this in the bush. So maybe if you're going to go camping 2 or 3 days, maybe hunting, something like that, and you've got a base camp, you know, a couple of hours marching, I reckon should be fine to load it up. But if you're going to be traveling, doing a circuit, camping out, and then traveling around, doing different places, camping out each night in a different place, I would maybe choose a civilian one or a better designed military one. This thing is lacking in some of its design, and here's another feature in which it's lacking in. This is a buckle which is supposed to just slip. As you can see, it's very awkward. If you've got gloved hands on, you're not going to be able to do that. And just pull one out and then take her off. The buckles are steel, so you can get a bit of rust on them. The later model of the F2 has plastic. I reckon that's probably a better way to go if it's good plastic. But yeah, these buckles just aren't that good. They're small. They're in an awkward spot when you're trying to use them and loosen the straps up. Side pouches. What can you carry in them? One of these awkward buckles. It's got a little sliding key in it, a little sliding centerpiece. You get that in the right position, and these straps just slide right off. Some of them are stiff, some aren't, but you'll get to know your pack. Easily hold American GI canteen, that's about 1 liter. And in there I've got a 750 ml normal water bottle. I think you'll be able to fit a 1.5 liter in there. So that'll slide right down, and the top of that sits there. So as you can see, a lot more space. Pretty good. There's a lot of cotton canvas on this pack, which makes it quite comfortable, but there is a big downside to that. It's very strong, very robust, but the strap up here for the top is cotton canvas. These straps here for the flap is cotton canvas. Shoulder straps, and this back piece here as well. That's all cotton. Now that opens up. I've got some rubbish bags in there, but you know, obviously the ideal in there would be to put in a bit of a back pad, give you some good support, softness against the back, and give the pack some structure and some shape. And that just velcros closed. The good and the bad of that is in summertime, it absorbs your sweat, which is kind of nice, takes it off the body, but it's dead flat, and so you don't get any air movement, and you know, you get give off a lot of heat around by your spine. So it's kind of handy to have that, kind of nice to have that center column there, that cavity in there where you can get airflow. This doesn't give you that. In summertime, it's going to be really hot, and it's going to absorb that sweat. And you get a good downpour, you know, don't worry about you taking the rain with you, because this is going to soak it all up, and that's going to add extra weight, and you're going to be carrying that until it dries out. Another problem with that is you get a freezing night. You wake up in the morning, and you know what happens to water when you soaked fabric in a freezing night? It freezes solid, and then you've got to try and put this thing on again. So you're going to be breaking it up, probably having to stick it in front of a fire maybe in the morning to just at least to warm up. But it's going to be a very cold, very damp thing to put on in the morning, or maybe all iced up as well. That's the problem with cotton. So you know, it's give and take, pros and cons. But for I bought it for 20, and they're about 40 now. I'm prepared to put up with the cons. I still think it's a good pack. I guess at night time you could throw a trash bag over it, keep it dry, but if it's already wet and if you get a freezing night, it's going to freeze on you. Cool. Okay, so as far as backpacks go, this is my camera bag, and I like it because it's waterproof and it has a lot of capacity, and it just does the job for me out in the bush, and I quite like that. If backpacks aren't your thing, or you want to go real budget or more minimalist, a bedroll, or in this case my poncho survival roll, that will do you fine as well. I've done a video on that before. I might do another one on just rolling it, but I did a brief one on rolling it in my budget bushcraft, budget survival, bedroll or bedding video. I think I did a quick rundown on how to roll them up, but you can carry most of your gear in that, so you can even end up putting an axe in there and hatchet in there. There's plenty of videos on the subject. And then a bit of rope around it. That's your carry strap. And this is a large Canadian gem knot. I use larger rope because it's easy to get done. And there you go. So that's quite small. You can go really large with these things. And it's just a bedroll. You're using a tarp or a poncho or a blanket as your outer covering. And you have that set up so it's across your shoulder like that, or that's two straps. You put it on just like a backpack. This case is a bit loose, but I would just retie it, and just goes on like a backpack. So as for packs, to me that comes under packs as well. Now, keeping in mind, going long distances, this is rope. It's nice, soft, thick rope. I can go for like couple of hours before this becomes a problem. Then I need to take it off, give the shoulders a rub, and I probably don't want to go too much further for the day. A couple of hours in, couple of hours out, that's okay. But you can also use Army surplus webbing straps, the combat harnesses and the webbing. Just make a rigger setup out of that, and you can go for days with carrying something like this. So if you like to go minimal, these are really cool. You carry all your stuff in just in one item. Everything serves a purpose in this, which is really good. But I would say, as far as backpacks go, I would finish off with that, a bedroll.